everyone. Today we are going to cover Unit 1 of System and Mechanical Engineering, that is Introduction of the Energy Resources and its Conversion. So in this video we are going to cover the whole unit, so stay tuned to our channel. So in this we are going to divide this unit into two parts. Basically this is a chapter 1, which is energy sources, and this is energy conversion devices. In this we have to study grades of energy, thermal energy, where we will study different types of power plant, hydropower plant, hydropower energy. In nuclear energy we will study about nuclear power plant, solar energy, geothermal energy, wind energy, biomass energy, tidal energy and hydrogen energy. Okay, and in this chapter 2 we have to cover energy conversion devices, which are turbine, compressor, pump, windmill. Turbine is also subdivided. There are subtopics in turbine, that are gas turbine, steam turbine, hydraulic turbine. In hydraulic turbine we have to study Pelton wheel, Francis turbine, Kaplan turbine. And in compressor there are reciprocating compressor, centrifugal compressor, centrifugal pump, reciprocating pump inside this pump. And in windmill part we have to study two types of windmill, that are horizontal axis windmill and vertical axis windmill. So in grades of energy we have two types, that is renewable and non-renewable. In renewable energy we have solar, wind, biomass energy, hydrogen energy. And in non-renewable energy we have fossil fuels, coal, petroleum, natural gas. Renewable energy is also known as non-conventional energy, and non-renewable energy is also known as conventional energy. Our next topic is thermal energy. Let's cover that. This is the picture of a steam power plant, and you can see here it's a boiler. These are steam means steam turbine, generator, and this all this. So let's study the process. Actually here the water is filled, and from here the water is supplied to this boiler, and where it gets hot and then becomes steam, and follow this path where this steam turbine rotates due to the high energy of the steam, and then the rotational energy goes to generator that generates electricity, and then the rest of this turbine goes from here, and then it's condensed and then again passed here, and then again sent to this boiler. So this is a boiler, and it is basically used to generate the high pressure and high temperature steams. And then what you say, that this is a steam turbine, and it converts that high pressure and high temperature steam supplied by the boiler into the shaft work, and the low temperature steam is exhausted here to the condenser, right? This generator, the shaft of the steam turbine is coupled, and the generator and the mechanical energy of the turbine is converted to electrical energy, right? And in this condenser, the steam which has rejected here is condensed. So all that steam is collected and condensed, and then this cooled water is passed to this you can say tank. Okay. Now here it is a feed pump. So the collected amount of condensate again fed back to the boiler because of this feed pump, and this condensate is already a bit hot, because we do not want to waste the energy that we had used to make the steam. So this water is hot, so less amount of heat is required here again to make it hot. So this is all about the steam steam power plant. You can also say it thermal power plant. So let's study the advantages of a steam power plant. Fuel used in this boiler are cheaper as compared to hydraulic power plant. Less amount of space is required. Location near the load center reduces transmission losses and transmission cost. initial cost of setup is less as compared to other plants. And what are the disadvantages? The time required for the plant setup is more. Okay, large amount of water is required for the operation, and handling of the coal and ash is a serious problem, because we need where we should deposit all this waste. Okay, and the last is the maintenance cost of the plant is high. Okay, so let's move towards the next topic, which is our hydropower energy. So this is a diagram of hydropower plant in which the energy of water, potential energy of the water is converted to electricity. So how it is converted? So this is all the setup. You can see here, this is a reservoir, dam, gate, penstock, anchors, outlet, transmission lines, transmission tower, powerhouse, generator, hydraulic turbine. Okay, so this is a reservoir and it is used to store the large amount of water during the rainy season, and it supplies the water being required. Okay, and here it is dam. Basically you can see this is the support, means it is what doing, it is a structure of the considerable height that built across the reservoir, and basically it stores the water. Reservoir stores, but it give it a support so that the water do not flow from here, because it's a large quantity of water. Okay, then we have a trash rack. Actually it prevents the entry of debris, that is dust particles. You can imagine it like a you can say grid from which the water is passed, so that all that debris, means paper, garbage type debris, that should stop here, and only pure water, not pure but water without the debris should pass, so that all the components which are after this should not get damaged. Okay, then we have a gate. Basically it opens the supply and closes the supply from this pipe, and this penstock is basically what the pipe from where the water is going to be flow from here. And then we have a control room, which here it will control all this what happening here, means when the gate should be opened, and when the water how much water should be stored here, and all the things. Okay, control room or a powerhouse consists of turbine, generator and other electric equipments to convert the mechanical energy of the turbine to electrical energy. And then we have a turbine here. This is a generator, and you will you are not seeing, but yes, there is a turbine here inside this, which converts all the energy which is coming here. First of all, the potential energy is converting to the kinetic energy, and this kinetic energy is going to convert into the rotational energy of the turbine, and the turbine will rotate, and that rotational energy will convert to the electrical energy. Okay, and then we have a tail race here. This is known as tail race, where all the remaining water which had come here passed away, right? So this is what a hydroelectric power plant, which is used to generate the electricity from the water. So let's study what are the advantages of hydroelectric power plants. So water source is easily and readily available. No fuel is burnt to generate the power. Running cost of these power plant is very low as compared to thermal power plant. These power plants are most reliable. There is no problem of disposal of ash emission of polluting gases and particulates. Life expectancy of these power plants is higher. So let's study disadvantages of these power plants. So these are the disadvantages of this power plant. Power generation is dependent on the quantity of the water available. So it depends on the quantity, and if there is less water is available, we can't supply more electricity from this, so which may vary from season to season. These power plants are located far away from the load center, which requires lot transmission lines, increasing the cost of these transmission losses. So these are far away from the villages, city, towns, and this increases cost of the lines which are maintained there. Next is the time required for these power plant is more, and initial cost of the setup is very high. So this is what a hydropower plant. Now the next type is nuclear energy. So let's study that. this is a nuclear power plant, and you can see this all is the repeated part that we have studied. Steam turbine, then generator, then you have condenser, then condenser water pump set. So this is something that is new, but all the process that is happening is old. What is happening? Steam is from here, this process, nuclear reaction is happening, which is generating heat, which heat is used to making steam from the water, and this is steam going to steam turbine, and then the generator is generating energy with by rotating the turbine, and this the left steam, not the remaining steam, is going to condenser, and it is being condensed. It is also passed through the cool air, cool air is passed through it, so that steam get condensed easily, and the heated air is out from the here, and condenser water circulating pump. Okay, and this is the condensate. All the remaining means all the air which steam which is condensed is passing from here. So this is what a nuclear power plant, and this is the main part of the nuclear power plant. So what here you can see, this is the external shield, and here you can see this is the nuclear reactor. These two are the control rods, then fuel rod, moderator, and this is only. So what is this reactor vessel made up of? It is made from the low carbon steel and clad with the stainless steel to reduce the corrosion problems. Okay, and the fuel which is going to be used here for this reaction is uranium 235, and rate is 92, then Pu 239, number is 94, and uranium 233, and these produce uniform heat, and these are cleared with stainless steel, zirconium, or by aluminium to prevent the oxidation of the uranium. These fuel rods are made by zirconium or by aluminium to prevent the oxidation of uranium. Okay, and we have moderator here. So these moderators are 5 to 10%. So these are the moderators, and these slow down the fast moving electrons, and it is lighter than fuel. Light water or graphite or beryllium, these are used in the moderator. So you can also use here D2O, which is a heavy water, and it acts as a coolant also. Moderator, it's also a moderator, but it acts as a coolant also. And the disadvantage of using D2O is that it is a low boiling point and need pressurization. Okay, so then we have control rods. These control rods are made up of boron, cadmium, and main function of these is to absorb the neutrons. See, we have a process in which fast moving neutrons are doing the process. So we have two main responsibilities in this, that we have to make the make the neutrons limited, and if they are much fast, then we have to make them slow. So moderator makes the electrons slow, and control rods absorbs these electrons. It is made of boron, cadmium, and okay, so this is what. And there is also a reflector, that is a good absorber, and same as the moderator material, it reflects the electron, so it remains within the boundaries of the this nuclear reactor. Okay. So the coolant used in this, that used to cool down the reaction, it becomes very hot, means the temperature rises very much. So the coolant here is CO2. You can write here CO2, H2, air, D2O, liquid, sodium in liquid. Okay, so liquid sodium you can say. So this is what. Okay, and this shielding also protects the human from alpha, beta, and gamma rays, and it is a steel 50 to 60 centimeter thick shielding. So this is all about the nuclear power plant, and we will now study advantages and disadvantages. So here we are having the advantages and disadvantages of nuclear power plant. So what are the advantages? Simply the cost of the generated power is less than the thermal power plant. Okay, no conventional fuel is required. As you can see, coal is not required here. Means we are using non-conventional fuels. Okay, and less space is required as compared to the steam power plant. We need much space to have coal, to put coal, and then to use that, and the ash which we get. So there is a lot of space required for the steam power plant, but here the less space is required. Large amount of energy is generated by burning small amount of fuel. So this is what the advantage is. The disadvantages of nuclear power plant are nuclear reactor fuel are not easily available, and that's a big problem. And there is a problem of disposal of radioactive waste also, and highly skilled operators are required. So this is one of the main factor why nuclear power plants are less in our country. So during the operation, nuclear radiation are produced, hence high degree of safety is also required. So there is a case of safety, skill, disposal. So that's why these are the disadvantages of nuclear power plants. Okay, so the next topic that we have to study is solar energy. So let's get started with solar power plant. So this is the basic diagram of solar energy power plant. Here you can see this is what the solar panel that we had seen in different areas. Solar radiations fall on this, and what happens, the hot fluid present in this flows, means the radiations makes the fluid hot, and that flows from here and gives the heat to this another system which we have already studied many times. It had become now. So the hot fluid goes from here, transfer the energy, means the hotness here, and then again it comes here, and then again become hot. So this is what is happening in this solar panel. Now here what's happening, this the hotness of this this energy is going to be used to make the water hot, and which is going to become a high pressure steam, and then going to this steam turbine, rotating the turbine, then generating the electricity, and that condensate, the remaining is coming here, and the condenser is used here to condense that, and this again feed pump which makes the water flow here, and then feed water, and then again this process is going to happen, and this is what a solar power plant. So let's study the advantages and disadvantages of solar power plant. So here we have advantages of solar power plant that are fuel is not required for the operation. That's not what the fluid that is flowing in that. Here the fuel means the energy which cannot be regenerated. Okay, and then there is no problem for ash handling, coal transportation, environment pollution, and the solar energy is available freely and easily, and it's available everywhere. For the operation of the plant, skilled operator are not required, and as we all know, this is set up in every home, not every home, many homes. Okay, so what are the disadvantages of power plant? So solar energy is dilute and spread out. So this is the main factor of the disadvantage. For the collection of the solar energy, large collection area is required. Since this all is happening because of the collection area, because collection area is what getting the solar energy. So intensity of the solar energy is weather dependent. Yes, this is same, it's weather dependent. So sometimes the solar energy become dilute, and that's why less energy is produced. Solar energy is intermittent source because it is not available at night. Okay, it's available only at the daytime, so we cannot produce the energy at the night time. So that's all about the solar energy. Let's move towards the next part, which is a geothermal energy. So this is what the basic diagram of geothermal energy power plant, right? So first of all, what is a geothermal energy? We all know that Earth is something like which had inside a core which is so much hot, but the above layers of the Earth is also hot, and that what we are going to use this energy means we are going to use this hotness, and we are going to put pipe inside this, which will take the hotness from this and make the fluid hot that we will send here. So that's what is happening here. So this is what the geothermal reservoir means. All this inside the earth, we are going to dig these pipes, and this will in this the fluid will flow, and this fluid when will flow near the surface which is inside the earth, it will become hot, and this hot will flow from here and give this hotness to the another, where we have to generate this energy. And this all is done by the pump. Without pump we cannot take out the water up. Okay, so this hotness is used here, and this is the whole setup, the same setup that we had studied. So in this, the water is going here, and this is going to turbine. Okay, water is going here, it is becoming hot, then steam, and then again turbine is rotating, then it's generating the electricity in the generator, passing there, and then again the remaining steam is coming here, and then this is used here to cool down, and then again is used. Okay, again is taken here. So this is all about the geothermal energy, and what are its disadvantages and advantages, and the types of geothermal energy. Let's study that. So the types of geothermal power plant, these are dry steam plants, flash steam plants, binary cycle power plants. And what are the benefits of using geothermal energy? Means the advantages: it's clean, that's obvious, and available 24 hours per day. It's homegrown, means we do not have to put effort anywhere. We have to don't search for the land. It's homegrown. We can set up it by searching the most suitable land for that. Okay, so no need to import. First, this is the important, and this is a renewable source, so it is not going to waste. We can means it can be regenerated. Okay, so this is all about the benefits. Now the next type of energy that we have to study is a wind energy. So let's cover the wind power plant. So this is what a wind power plant, and this wind power plant, we do not say this. This is a wind turbine generator, and the wind flows from here. It's rotate the turbine, rotor with the blades. Okay, then we have brakes here, controller, shaft, gearbox, and when this rotates, this mechanical and rotational energy is converted to where the rotational energy of the coil inside the generator, and this generator is going to produce the electricity there. So this is what the basic structure of this wind turbine inside it. So this is what the gearbox, then we have a generator, then we have a rectifier, AC to DC it converts, then battery, it goes to battery or an inverter wherever, then consumer device. Okay, so this is what a wind turbine generator. So what are the advantages of wind power? It's clean and pollution free, renewable and sustainable. Wind power is cost effective. Okay, disadvantages of wind power plant is that high investment required to set up these windmills, technology immaturity, and not available everywhere with the more efficiency. So we cannot set up these power plants, these turbines everywhere, because we do not get wind fast flowing wind everywhere. So we have to first of all search for that place for so that we can get more and more efficiency. Now let's cover the next part, which is a hydrogen energy. So this is what the basic diagram of a hydrogen fuel cell in which we are going to convert this hydrogen energy to electrical energy. So this is basically the fuel cell which we had studied in our 12th class. Okay, so in this hydrogen is given here and oxygen is given here. Both these react with each other, and the water is the byproduct of this fuel cell, and energy is generated from this, and you can use this energy as electricity. Okay, so this is for the hydrogen fuel cell. The next type of energy that we are going to cover is a biomass energy. So let's cover that. So here we have a types of biomass energy. So this is garbage, crops, alcohol fuels, landfill gas, and wood. So this is what which are used to create the biogas. And okay, so next is what more about biogas. So this is what I made here. Biomass energy is basically we have to study the sources of biomass, and we have to study application and different ways of extracting energy from the biomass. What are the sources? Sugarcane, corn, soya bean, switch grasses, and willow, oil plant, algae. So these are the sources of the biomass energy. And what are its application? These are uses in medical devices such as glucose biosensor, heating building, diesel car and trucks. These are its applications. And the different ways of extracting the biomass energy, different ways of extracting energy from the biomass. These are the ways we can use: biofuels, biogas, heat and power. So heat and power can be get from wood and grass. And fuels, these are the bioethanols, biodiesels, hydrotreated and vegetable oils. And biogas are what? These are anaerobic digestion of biological material. Okay, and these are hydrocarbon, methane and CO2. And basically biofuels are and these biogases are from the fermentation of the sugar, and which is what the which is used to transport vehicle, pre-processing, combustion of the co-firing, chemical methods, biological methods. So these are what I have covered all about the biomass, which is written in the syllabus. So let's move towards the next energy that we have to study, which is a tidal energy. So this is basically a tidal power plant, and you can see this is here, see high water mark, slice gates, barrage, and this is the turbine. Basically this is the turbine which is going to rotate, and this turbine when rotated it's connected to generator that will generate the electricity. So what happened, let me explain you basically why tides are here. So basically these tides are the result of periodic rise and fall of the water level of the sea, and assumed to be this is Earth, and here is the sun. Okay, actually in reality it's not so closer, but I am explaining. So this is the water level, water which is above the Earth, not everywhere, but okay. So due to this sun, there is some gravitational pull in this water. So this water becomes like this, and there is also moon here. Now it moves. Moon keeps rotating around the sun. So its moon also pulls some water which is above this level. So in this way, the water on the surface of the Earth becomes like this. And that's what happened when the moon moves around this, and these tides rise and fall, and that's why this due to this, when we set up a tidal power plant, these tides rotates the turbine, then go down, and then when it's rotate, and then again tides rise, and then here the water goes, and in this way they generated electricity from these. And also remember, if the if the water level is above this, then it is known as flood tide. Okay, and if the water level is below, then this is known as ebb tide. Right? So this is basically what the tidal energy, how it's generated, and how it's produced. Now the last topic of this chapter which we are left with is the grade of energy, means their comparison. So let's compare these. So this is basically the grades of energy: high grade and low grade energy, comparison with the thermal, electrical and mechanical. As it is, it's come in exam, so let's discuss this. So these are the various energy sources: coal, oil, wood, uranium, solar, hydrogen. And hydrogen I am written. Electrical also, uranium, nuclear, wood, solid, liquid. So these are its states. Okay, so state is solid, field, gas, liquid. Okay, so this is the weight, volume, area, And what you have to see, you have to convert you have to compare these. Okay, that a coal has 18 to 13 in weight, it's 23 to 35,000, means it's what the quantity is used in these thermal power plants, and in this way you can easily find out which is more effective. Okay, so this is what this. And the definition of a high grade and low grade energy is that a high grade energy is that energy which can be converted from one form to another, and low grade energy that cannot be converted. So that's for all this chapter 1. Let's move towards the chapter 2, that is energy conversion devices. Okay, in which we are going to study 1, 2, 3, 4 subtopics. So in this first topic is our pump, and there are two types: positive displacement, dynamic pressure. In dynamic pressure you have a centrifugal pump that we have to study, and in positive displacement we have reciprocating pump, rotatory pump. Rotatory pump is also two types: gear pump and piston pump. In the syllabus there is only reciprocating pump and centrifugal pump. So what is the reciprocating pump? This is the diagram of reciprocating pump, and I will show you it's more clear. Okay, so basically let's see the function. So fluid enters axially in the impeller, receives energy from the vanes, which increases its pressure and velocity, and cast off the centrifugal force around its circumference through the impeller vent pipe. Basically this is what the impeller is. Okay, let's move towards a clean diagram. It's not so much clean. So this is the figure of centrifugal pump, and we are going to study the centrifugal pump. So this is what the impeller is. In this impeller the water comes from here, which is sucked here, and this what start rotating, and that's why the pressure is created in the side walls. Okay, that is the circumference, and in this circumference when the pressure is created, this water goes up, and in this way this works. Okay, so in the main components are this is known as impeller, and it's the rotating part of the centrifugal pump, and we have a casing. The casing is the outermost which is covering this. Then we have a suction pipe which is actually taking the water from the you can say sump. Okay, and then we have a suction pipe, and then we have a delivery pipe which is going to deliver all this water, which is going to sucked in with a high pressure upward. Okay, so this is what the centrifugal pump. So let's see what are its advantages. So the application of the centrifugal pump are: it is used for the domestic water supply, it is used in the energy and oil refineries, power plants, it is used in the building services and the pressure boosting, fire protection, sprinkler system, air conditioner. So all this is all about where the water is sprinkled, and means something we are going to use the water in a different way. Okay, so it is used in the boiler feed applications also, wastewater management and irrigation. It is also used in the mechanical and process industry. So these are the applications of the centrifugal pump. And now the next that we have to cover is what the rotatory pump. That's it. So let's start with that. So this is the basic diagram of reciprocating pump, and in this what you have to observe is that this is known as IDC and this is known as ODC. IDC is the inner dead center, ODC is the outer dead center, right? So what happens here, this is basically a piston which comes here, then here, and here. So vacuum is created here, that's why the water is actually move upward from here. So this is what in this happening. Okay, so the main components of this pump is suction pipe, suction valve, suction head, delivery head. Okay, these are the heads, means this is your suction head, this is your delivery head. Then we have a delivery pipe which is going to flow all this water which is coming. Okay, and then we have a delivery valve closed. Okay, cylinder, piston. So basically what happens, simple, this piston comes forward, then backward, then forward, then backward. That's why the vacuum is created and the water goes up. So that's what is happening here. And in the language of SME you can write it that it is basically going the crank is going rotating from ODC to IDC. Means if you connect a string from string to this circle. This is basically a separate diagram. Don't make it like means don't take both the same in the same. So this is separate. You just see, if you connect this thread to here, then what happens? If the pump moves here backward, then this is going here, and if it's move forward, then this is going here. So basically it's moving from IDC to ODC. So it's only for the explanation. It's not included here that a thread is connected to this wheel nut. Okay, the reciprocating pump is only this much, right? So this is the reciprocating pump. So now let's study applications. So in advantages we have, it is used for the pumping sewage and slurries domestic H2O. Okay, and what are its advantages? That it is able to work medium to low head and a viscosity liquid. Okay, means it can work with viscous liquid also, and it's work in medium to low head, right? Means it cannot support, it cannot give the water at a high pressure, means at a high height. That's why. So this is all about the pumps. Now the next topic that we have to cover is a compressor. So let's move towards the compressor, right? So we have to study two types of compressor, that is reciprocating compressor and centrifugal compressor. Pumps and compressor are different thing, don't mix them, okay?